Poor Norton got under Clyde's head. There's something about Mary. Hello, welcome to window days. I don't know how long it's going to take me to build frames for those windows. These are the custom ordered windows for the front gable end. I've had them for about 3 weeks now. Have had time in the last week. I hate my hair blowing around. I've honestly been recovering a little bit physically, so I am now today just gonna start to tackle this. I also am, I'm procrastinating on it in addition to the fact that I'm allowing myself to recover physically, and I think there's a few reasons. Because I've never built frames for windows, it's a little bit intimidating. I don't have a proper workshop, so that makes it harder. I haven't decided if I'm gonna try to do it out here in the carport on a pallet and some cardboard, or if I'm gonna try and take these inside into the basement. Maybe it'll be easier. I'll have more of the tools inside to do it. It's just I have my miter saw out here and I have the table saw down there, and you know, it's just kind of a mishy-mash. I have this window. I got this window for free, you know, a while ago, and it's been sitting in the carport. So I'm using this window as a reference as to how to build a frame around a window. I'm gonna use cedar because I have cedar. I'm definitely gonna admit I'm not going to be doing it in a craftsman way. I'm gonna do it kind of the bare bones way. I originally wasn't even going to put frames around the windows, but I decided that because I kind of screwed up, now we'll talk about this. I kind of screwed up on the windows. I guess I didn't really screw up, but of the two ways to measure for the windows, I did it the worst of the two ways. So the way that I did it is like this. I'll draw it out. And what I should have done was the other way. And I didn't realize that until I literally got the windows home, and that night I just was like, how am I gonna put them in to that space? Because I didn't have an exact triangle to work with. I was like, do I make it that whole exact shape? I didn't know a window could even be made like that. I think it can, but anyway, it's still going to work. It's just not as ideal, because if I'd have beefed up the bottom and then did the triangular shape, like if I'd have beefed out that front beam the extra 5 inches and measured it that way, that actually gives me more of the loft. That's why I was having a hard time with the loft, because my mattress is like 10 inches thick, which is too thick, so I'm not using the mattress that I'd planned on using this whole time. I don't want the loft to be overwhelming in that space. It's so small. I don't want a loft that's like this thick. I want a loft that's like this thick. So trying to find out where I want to place the loft in terms of where the window is and the side beams, it's all a little bit stepped, if that's the right word. So if I'd have done it the right way, everything would have just fit together a little bit better, but it's still gonna work. And because I kind of screwed it up, I figure I should build frames around the windows rather than try to just take the windows as they are like that, putting them up and then framing in, you know, front and back and kind of sandwiching it in that way. I think it might be easier to just build the frames. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get the wood. Those done. So use this cedar. First thing I need to figure out is if I can carry this into the house by myself. I can do it. I can lift them. It actually wasn't bad. I just used like gloves that are grippy. Bent down, picked it up and carried it in. Something like that. Now I'm just going to take some and cut out some with the table saw. I think I'm just going to do 45-degree angles so that I can use the other part too. So I get two 45-degree cuts from using one cut, if that makes sense. Hi, darling. Hi. Sweet boy. My darling. Hi, baby. With Steve gone, the dogs like it when we're both around. They kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Steve feels the same way. He feels like when I'm gone, he's like, yeah, they're just not the same. Like they want us both around to take them on the walks and all of that kind of stuff. Look at him. Oh, my snuggle bug. Look, you too, Bear. It's gonna be so hard to say goodbye to these guys. This is kind of where I'm at. I took a piece of, you know, this, cut it at a 45-degree angle. This will be my bottom board, say for example. And am I going to go like that? And then for reference, the window will come in like that. Doing it this way would be the easiest because I have a lot of this cedar. I don't know if this is too flimsy. It's the only thing. Then on the other side, in the inside, I'll just do, I don't know, more of this, I guess. I just grabbed a bunch more of these boards. So I have all of my stuff. I have all of the, these are the 45s. I have the inside kind of pieces cut at 2 inches. And I've got all the rest of my stuff over here cut. I'm looking after Arrow again. And he has to be everywhere that I am, so. Don't you, little buddy? Don't ya? Here's where things got the most complicated for me. Of course, I can sit here now and realize how much easier it is than how I was making it at the time, but I've never made window frames before and, well, hindsight is always 20/20. I spent a couple of hours that evening trying to understand how to cut the angles properly, whether or not I should attach the 45-degree angle pieces to the main pieces first and then measure and cut.
I trialed scrap pieces and played around with those, but it was honestly a bit of a filming disaster because I just wasn't making headway and I was all over the place. So instead, I enjoyed a soak in the hot tub, gathered my thoughts that evening, and by the morning, I had a better plan. Remove the 45-degree angle cuts from the main wood pieces and cut them to size separately, silly, because once you put it all together, all the pieces should fit. And to figure out my angles, now other than the 45-degree angle one, which is straightforward, this is what I really struggled with. I figured if I just found the center point of what that angle was, I would just follow that line and trace the angles on my wood pieces. As long as the cuts were even, they should line up properly, and that was a concept I wasn't understanding at first. My plan was to fumble my way through the first window and then tackle the second one, showing you guys things better and more organized, but I was running out of time and I knew I wouldn't be able to complete both windows in time for video day. So I am just doing the one window for the sake of time, and I will tackle the second window another day. Once I felt like the dry fit was acceptable, it was time to glue it and screw it, baby. I did have a considerable sized gap in one of the joints and I didn't have it in me to redo it, so I just made sure I got a wood filler appropriate for the job. I did a couple of rounds of filling and sanding and then it was time to paint. Next day, so I sanded it down and gave things a quick wipe. I'm going to paint now with this same black paint that I've used on a lot of stuff. I used this on the roof panels that I had to paint for the cabin. This was stuff left over from the roofers that did our metal roof. I used it to paint the little gable end window at the back and the ones in the shed, all sorts of stuff I've used this black paint for. So that is what I'm going to paint so that the outside is black. Maybe it's more of a snug fit than I thought. So I'd be able to just slide this off. I tried and tried to get the window separated from the framing. I tugged, tapped, twisted, shimmied, wiggled, pulled, pushed, chiseled away at the wood, and nothing was working. Hello. I backed out the screws to see if that would lend a hand, and it did. It basically allowed the glue to separate. But it was what needed to happen, and it was an easy fix. So I am now going to cut the inside pieces. I'm just going to go out into the carport.
truth. Let's...
So this is the seam that broke, so I will just, actually it doesn't look too bad, but I will redo that. It's not bad for my first window, I guess. This bottom one was the one area where I noticed the window wouldn't snug up to the wood. Oh, and that's why. Because of that seam, there was a bit of a difference in the how these two laid together. That's why. But nothing a little caulk can't fix. And then it gets really nice. So yeah, if I have to do that again, I'll just have to really watch that. Because everywhere else, it actually fits quite nice. Oh, up here a little bit too. There you have it. So obviously my plan was to separate the window from the frame so that I could put a clear coat on the frame without having to worry about the glass there, but I will just have to tape off the glass and put a clear coat on the black. One of the other things, I think it would have looked nicer if I put a board all the way out. I think the reason, couple reasons, uses more wood and it also makes it heavier, even though only probably a little bit, but I actually had wanted to do something different on the inside anyway. I wanted to use kind of like a barn board on the inside, but I don't have that here.
I would like to put a bit of a clear coat finish on this black paint because the paint is very matte and it scuffs really easily. Normally I use like this Rust-Oleum clear coat spray in a matte, which gives it a little bit more sheen than the paint does. I don't have any of that left. I have this spar urethane, but in the directions it says make sure there is no paint on it or anything like that unless it's a Minwax wood finish, so the same company. But I think I'm just gonna go for it anyway. I must have done this before, putting this over top of paint, because I'm pretty sure I did actually for the other window at the very back, at the gable end back window. So I'm just gonna go for it.
To save myself from having to go to the store, I'm just going to use some clear silicone in here. It's still a little bit tacky, so I will have to wait.
Hi. Hi, sweetie. Are you looking for Riley? Are you? He's up here. Come on. Go get him.
barking up a storm. You're just barking up a storm.
Where do you smell it, Clyde? Clyde, come on. Oh, good.
Are you wanting to go on the trip, Southgate? Are you wanting to go on the trip? I think you don't. I remember you didn't like boats before. Daddy's leaving today. Daddy's leaving today, everybody. Southgate learned how to swim on the sailboat. Didn't you, Southgate? Too bad we didn't get video footage of that. That was funny.